Want to boost your immune system? Here's a different way you haven't thought about yet. Check this out. Thank you, beautiful soul, for tuning in. Once again, thank you for watching my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so to get the weekly updates. And today we're talking about boosting your immune system. There's a million videos on boosting your immune system. And many of you think I'm going to talk about nutrition, maybe, exercise, maybe, or my big three, breathing, water, and sleep. But I'm not talking about any of these today, at least not specifically. Today I'm talking about your emotions. All right, so this is a little newer for me because what I've been doing is really diving into traditional Chinese medicine, which really, I mean, you could be a doctor of Chinese medicine, and I'm definitely not that. However, I'm taking classes and learning a lot to really understand how emotions affect specific organs, which that's what I do. I do emotional clearing, and I understand that they come out of organs and they come out of your whole body so that you can rid yourself of the unwanted or negative emotions. However, really diving in gives me a better understanding of what's going on. Now, I'm definitely not an expert, I promise you that, so this is going to be more of a beginner video if you have never heard this before. But if you caught my video about masculine and feminine energies, I talked about heartbreak and how your heart can literally break and cause dis-ease. Well, just like that, any emotion in your body that is tuned to a negative frequency, there's a scale called the Hawkins Scale, which I will try to stick right here. If I'm good at editing, we'll see. But the Hawkins Scale shows how certain emotions are on a vibratory scale. So you want a high vibration to be high vibe, right? To be that person who everyone just like, oh man, they're so magnetic. That's a high vibe person. Someone who's low vibe is typically someone you just don't want to be around, and the hairs on the back of your neck go up, right? So some negative energies are fear, guilt, shame. Those really are very low. And the high vibe ones are peace, joy, love. And there's a bunch in between, okay? So you could be anywhere. We fluctuate on the scale every day, but your set point, or where you basically are, is somewhere on that scale. And you always want to try to raise your vibration by living in love, compassion, peace, joy. Those are the high vibe. Now, I'm talking about, though, boosting your immune system. And you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Your body understands vibration of emotion. Emotion is energy. Everything around us is energy. Our emotions send out a frequency or an energy, and our organs pick up on those energies or frequencies. Now, in traditional Chinese medicine, they have emotions and organs paired, and then there's organs that are paired together. For example, the lungs and the large intestine are what they call cousin brother, okay? So they are paired together because they work symbiotically. Now, I have to caveat with saying all organs work together, okay? They all work together. However, there's pairs of organs that work very closely together, and they rely on each other. It's kind of like the liver, gallbladder. But we're talking about, right now I want to talk about the lungs and the large intestine. These two organs are responsible for giving and receiving. So I want you to think about that. The lungs take in air, they expel. Okay? Same with the large intestine. It takes in food and then it sends it on its way to be expelled out. They are the givers and the receivers. The one emotion that's very closely related to the lungs is grief. Grief, or excess grief, will keep your lungs in low vibration. And when your lungs are in low vibration, that creates dis-ease. Okay? Now, I know this this might sound so new to you, or like, I never heard this before. Where's this coming from? I promise you, this is not something I'm making up. Okay. It's not something I'm making up. This is very well documented. It's just that the Western culture has really pushed medication because like the Eastern medicine knows that you can heal yourself with your mind. Your mind can completely heal your body. And they're very aware of that, and they've been aware of that for thousands of years. But the Western medicine, for the most part, knows that if you buy medication, they make money. But what I'm telling you is that if you handle your emotions, if you come face to face with your emotions and work on clearing out the negative emotions and bringing in the positive through different modalities, you can heal yourself. There have been people who have healed themselves of cancer by using their mind and emotions to just clear out the cancer. Gone. Okay, but you don't hear about these things because it doesn't make money. I'm not going to get into that aspect of it, the whole behind the scenes and big pharma, but what I will say is that I promise you can heal yourself of any disease that you have. Diseases are mainly 99% of the time caused by emotions. For example, and I mentioned this in one of my other videos about women who are always saying yes and never take care of themselves, never do what they need to do for themselves, they typically can get breast cancer. So if you know someone who's had breast cancer, ask yourself, are they a yes person? They're always doing something, and they do it with a smile on their face. I promise you that. They're not doing it with, frowning and mad. They do it with a smile on their face, but realistically, deep down, they're hurting. They need someone to care for them once in a while. Someone who's angry, their liver feels the effect of that. So liver and gallbladder go hand in hand, and when you have anger, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, they get affected. So going back to the lungs and the large intestine, when you have a lot of grief, and let's say you keep taking in the grief, and you never let that grief go, okay? You're always taking in the grief, never letting it go. Your lungs and your large intestine get backed up. They can hold on to too much substance, toxic substance, and not just emotional, but actual physical toxic substance. Maybe you become constipated. Maybe you are always constipated, and it's such your normal now that you don't even realize it, because you should be going a few times a day. These are all signs of holding on. Okay, we're holding on to grief. Now, other emotions can affect that, but we're not going to get into that. That's honestly almost beyond my understanding. But grief is the main issue with your lungs and your large intestine. Now, especially in this time right now, we need our lungs. If you're watching this in May of 2020, we need our lungs to be very strong. So if you're sitting in grief, okay, maybe you lost somebody, maybe you lost something, like a job. Sitting in grief is not helping your lungs at all, because you're holding it in the lungs. You're holding it in. Every time you breathe in, your shoulders are going up and they're not coming down. And it's causing a lot of other issues in your body, and your lungs take that on, and they take on the toxic substances revolved around that. So consider letting go of grief. Find some modality, whether it's psychotherapy or some other release, to get rid of the grief. And just as a reminder, I do emotional clearing. So if you need some type of emotional clearing, any type of emotional clearing, I can do that for you, including ancestral. Another video. Okay, I like to go on my tangents. So let's go into the liver. The liver holds on to anger. And I like to talk about this one because I think people think anger and they think of rage. There are so many different types of anger. There's resentment. There's being passive aggressive. I actually know quite a few passive aggressive people. And that emotion, or that way of being, is so toxic, not only to that person, but to everybody around them, because you feel, I don't know if you've been around somebody who is passive aggressive, you feel uncomfortable. It's like you feel their insecurity, at least I do, I feel the insecurity coming out, and the way that they deal with that is being passive aggressive. And that is a form of anger. And again, so is resentment. Being resentful, holding on to that resentment, is a form of anger. Okay? Or, whatever you want to call this anger, you're driving and someone really angers you driving. That's anger, and that affects your liver. Now, when we have a lot of anger, whatever kind of form of anger it is, many people use alcohol. Okay, now I'm not saying that you have to be an alcoholic to use alcohol. You can use it on the weekends. Why do you use it on the weekends? Is it to unwind? Why do you need to unwind? What are you unwinding from? Are you unwinding from some form of repressed anger? My guess is yes, because you shouldn't need to have a substance that alters your mind to unwind. You should be able to do that on your own, whether that's through physical activity, through talking to a friend, just casual talking even, doesn't have to be anything formal, through breathing, through meditating, through reading a book, taking a bath, going out in nature. All of these things can actually help you unwind without the need or use of a substance like a drug or alcohol or even food, because that's what ends up happening. Anger makes you shove it down, right? You just shove it down with whatever you're putting in your mouth or in your body. Well, you could see how that becomes very toxic over time. So you see how many people become alcoholics because they're consuming alcohol casually, because it's fun, because it makes them feel good. Over time, if you keep suppressing down these anger emotions, you can become abusive to whatever it is that you keep putting down in your body on a consistent basis. So you can become obese, you can become an alcoholic, you could become a drug abuser, you could become a shopaholic, you could be over exercise. There's so many ways that you can abuse something because you're trying to get that endorphin rush so that you don't have to think about the emotions behind the anger. And typically those emotions stem from childhood. Like I always say in my videos, there's something from childhood. But you can, and what happens is you get them in childhood, but then you keep doing the same pattern over and over of pushing it down. I'm not going to deal with this one today. Not going to deal with this one today. You need to deal with it. It's the easiest way to let go of anger so that your liver and your gallbladder can stay healthy. That's how you fight dis-ease. It's not through medication. Medication's not going to fight the dis-ease. It's only going to mask it. It's a Band-Aid. So I'm trying to help you understand that your emotions are a direct link to your health. Direct link. Your emotions determine if you eat healthy, how much sleep you get, how much you exercise, the type of breathing you do, the type of water you drink. So all the things I mentioned in the beginning are determined by your emotions. If you are generally a joyous person who has a lot of gratitude for life, you are going to treat your body in accordance with that, meaning you're going to exercise, you're going to eat healthy, you're going to get a good amount of sleep. You're not going to abuse your body on a regular basis by drinking alcohol or eating lots of junk food. You're going to treat it like you love it, like you have love for it, and have compassion. You have to face these emotions because they're your direct gateway out of dis-ease. And I say dis-ease is because there's no ease in the body. You're causing a lack of ease or dis-ease in the body. So your liver and your gallbladder are really important, just as your lung and your large intestine. Now I can go on and on with different organs. I'm not going to, but I wanted to get to guilt and anger. Let me add in a comment about the gallbladder. I see a piece of dust right here. The gallbladder, as I said, goes along with the liver, and it takes in fear or it takes in anger, and how that manifests is joint pain. So knee, shoulder, hip. Do you know any males who typically have more anger than females that have joint pain? Listen, it's not something a medication is going to fix. It'll help it, temporarily, but you have to stay on it. It's the emotion of anger. They might be the nicest person you've ever met, but somewhere deep inside they're repressing anger, and it's showing up in their joints. That anger manifests. It always manifests. Your body is always telling you something, always telling you something. If you have a problem in a muscle, in a bone, in a joint, in some tissue, you're having skin issues, it's your body's way of like tapping you on the shoulder. Hey, I'm trying to tell you something here, and if you don't listen this time, I'm going to bring out bigger guns. And that's kind of what happens. So your knee pain can eventually end up in needing a knee replacement because you're not listening. Well, that knee replacement's all great and everything. However, that anger is still there. And now you've added trauma, because surgery is always a trauma. So if you don't get rid of the trauma and the anger, now you're going to have more issues down the line. So people think that, well, I have such bad luck because I have this, this problem and this problem and this problem. And it has nothing to do with luck. It's all to do with your emotions and whether or not you've been able to express your emotions. For so long, poor men have been told not to show their emotions. It's horrible. They've been told to not cry, to not show emotions. You have to be the strong one, be the man in the family, wear the pants, all those things. Well, that is a problem. That's a serious problem, because not expressing your emotions just makes them harbor and fester in your body. It's like, having a bug bite and just putting a Band-Aid over that bug and letting the bug just do what it wants underneath the Band-Aid, so you don't have to look at it. But that doesn't help, because it just makes it worse, and that's just gross. All right, so I hope you guys understand that your emotions play a really big, huge role in your overall health. It helps your immune system, because your immune system is reliant on all your organs, right? It's everything fighting for you. It's fighting to keep you alive. If you want to keep your immune system running really well, you've got to face these emotions. You got to deal with them, understand them, give them some love, give them some compassion, and then let the ones that you don't want go. I don't want to say bad ones, but let the ones that are unwanted go. Say goodbye. It's not that easy, but it's easy. It's work, but it's work for you. So if you guys have any questions, I'll stop babbling, because I can babble for hours. But if you have any other questions or comments, please put them below, and please do me a favor, like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, loves. Love you.